When Labor voters were asked who they could choose, if the party could choose a different leader from Anthony Albanese, who would they like to pick? And the Labor figure who came out on top was Treasurer Jim Chalmers, with 21% of voters choosing him. He was followed by Ipposition, with 17% of Labor voters choosing her. Tony Burke, who fancies himself a future leader, don't know why, had only 5% of support from Labor voters surveyed. About half of the voters actually didn't know who to pick. Let's bring in now Labor figure and GXO Strategies Director Cameron Milner, who's in London, and former Howard advisor David Gazard. Cameron, your firm commissioned this polling. What does it tell us about how voters view the Prime Minister?
Well, the results aren't good for Albo because cost of living is the number one issue for Australians, and then there's daylight. But 2/3 of those people polled don't think Labor's doing a good job on cost of living. They think they're doing a terrible or poor job. So every time Labor tries to get the message out in cost of living, there's another Albo fiasco, another buying $1 million house or a Qantas upgrade. It's crowding up the message. And so what we polled was whether Labor voters wanted to see someone else than Albo. And as we saw, clearly, head and shoulders, Jim Chalmers and Tanya Ipposition, streets in front of the other leadership contenders if Albo was not to be the leader.
Yeah, and yet you have leadership rumblings. I mean, people talk about Jason Clare, they talk about Tony Burke. Well, according to this poll, no one, not even Labor voters, 5% want those two figures. David Gazard, there was a 3-point lift in the coalition's primary vote, according to this poll, taking it to 39%. So it still needs to get a bit higher for Dutton to be in a governing position. But in terms of voters, well, they didn't give Dutton a glowing endorsement either. So do you think he needs to improve his image as well?
Look, the coalition's figures are inching higher with each polling cycle. So I don't think anyone will be particularly alarmed with that. And bear in mind that there has only been one-term government in Australia's history. That was the 1931 Scullin government. So it would buck historical